Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Early morning in the West Coast. How are you guys doing? Can you guys hear me? Mic test. All right. I am talking. Kindly get acclimated. Are you guys able to see my screen? It says Trendline class, what you need. Are you guys able to see that? All right. If you don't hear sound or video, restart your browser, please. All right. You guys pumped? You guys pumped to get my name tomorrow? I'm writing an entire research report. I am pumped. I am so pumped. The funny thing is I'm gonna be doing if you guys like this sort of stuff, I'm gonna be doing more of it and more of it. I personally enjoy it massively. I enjoy doing this massively. Like I really enjoy it a lot. Yeah. Well, pretty much, Perry. The thing is the stocks I give move because it's all about who respects the words you say. And no offense to all of us, like our small fries, but when you get the big boys following us, it becomes a lot more valuable, you know? I mean, anything is possible. I mean, I recommend attacking it slowly on pullbacks. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to attack it. All right. So yeah. Hi, Marissa. How are you? Thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us, Monica. I honestly have no clue what I would do without you here. Really, like I'd be like, huh? What? Uber important. Uber, super duper important. That's because Monica is part of T3 customer service, believe me. Um, not to, you know how they say throw people under the bus? I guess not to throw Monica inside the bus. Yeah, we're going to continue. I'm still not done hitting donors choose up. I tell a lot of people I know always to give money. People are, do well in the market. They're like, "Mark, how can I, repay you?" type of thing. I just send them to your charity. That's what I do. Hey, Judy. Good morning. All right. So I hope your charity is doing well. I hope your charity is doing better, not from my direct donations. I hope you're doing massively better from all the people I tell about. That is the point of any getting the word out of any charity. Using my position to, put the name out there. All right. So 9 o'clock a.m. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this bad boy. I'm gonna show you my face. Do not get scared. I know it's early in the morning. And I was out getting hammered last night. No, I don't drink alcohol unless I'm having a glass of white wine with Monica. Then I will have a drink. Other than that, I do not drink alcohol. hmm I'm trying to get Monica to stay away from white wine and go red because of the sulfites in it. Like, if you're going to do wine, don't drink white wine. Believe me, I love Pinot Grigio just like every other failing artist in Hollywood, but you have to drink red wine. There you go. See? There we go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started right here. First of all, I want to say good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being part of the Algorithmic Trendline class. This is not a feel-good class. I know I say this every time because it's true. I'm not here to fill you up with a bunch of fluff and make you feel overly confident in your abilities, only to throw you out into the real world of trading and watch you fail miserably. I started looking into this back in 2009. Um, this strategy has cost me a lot of things in life. You know, uh, I estimate it's probably over 65,000 hours I spent, but I'm 100% sure it's over 50,000 hours spent. So just to give you an idea of what 50,000 hours look like, I'm just going to even pull up this little calculator, and it's more than this, and just divide it by the 24 hours in a day. So I spent 2,083 days of time, like with no sleep, 2,083 days of time um, creating this strategy. This is not a strategy you can learn in school. This is not a strategy that they teach you anywhere outside of this course, of course. This is my life's work as a trader. You know, if they were to put on my gravestone what I contributed um, to stock traders around the world, they would probably put this course that you're in right now as part of that. So I started watching charts and I started asking myself, why are stocks bouncing and why are stocks falling from certain levels? Was there any way to predict it? And as a very statistically oriented human being, um, I was actually just watching it. I was actually just watching the market. And what I realized is everybody in the world draws trend lines incorrectly. I do not say that lightly. If you're drawing a trend line, you're probably doing, unless you took this course, not patting myself on the back. Again, I love to be wrong. There's nothing more I enjoy than being wrong. I do. Why? No, why do you enjoy being wrong? Because it means I can learn something new. When I play a video game, when I play a sport, I actually enjoy losing because losing is the only way you get better. Think about it. You're playing basketball against, you're an adult and you're playing basketball against a 5-year-old and you just keep putting the ball inside and the 5-year-old can't do anything about it. You might be winning every single time, but you play against somebody with comparable skill, all of a sudden you have to elevate your game and you still might lose. That's how you learn and get better in every aspect of life. We take challenges as humans, we overcome them. That is how we send a rocket to the moon. That is how we build airplanes, because we look at something, we have an idea, and we try to bring it to that next level. That is very, very important when it comes to human beings. So one day I was, I wasn't always a phenomenally consistent trader. I was always profitable, but I wasn't consistent, which is horrible, by the way. You think it's okay. Well, it doesn't matter if you make money, right? Yes, it actually matters more than you imagine. That's why traders burn out. Traders who make money burn out because they can't deal with the constant psychological abuse of losing trades. It's psychological abuse. Like, I think it is a form of abuse, like mental abuse. Like, you could jail it if it were a human instead of being an entity like the stock market. So this class I teach you, again, is not going to be a feel good class. I'm not here. You're not going to finish this class and say, I get it, I'm ready to destroy this market. But you're going to take this class and you're going to be like, holy fecal matter. I am ready to change my life as a trader. This is some of the most enlightening things I've ever seen in my life. People, when I call the tops and bottoms of the market, for example, like we did this week, just to use an example again, I've done it thousands of times before. When we're calling the top and bottom of the triple Qs, for example, you're watching the triple Qs yesterday, and we gave you a level in the triple Qs bottom of what was it, 63 cents. We gave you the bottom of right over here, 166, low 60s, and then we hit a day low of 166.57. It was like 6 cents, 7 cents off of the dead bottom. And the entire NASDAQ, the entire S&P futures just rallied tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars, flooding the market buying. Was that a coincidence? What if I told you that in order to call how I accurately did it Thursday, if you were obviously in the room, and I actually did it on my birthday, what timing yesterday, and I called the dead bottom in the market twice accurately, and people tend to be amazed at that, and they're like, well, how did you do it? And I simply tell them I drew this line right here where I attached the top and bottom of January 31st and February 1st, right here. One line, 2 days, connected to each other, accurately calls the dead bottom of the triple Qs on Thursday and Friday. Isn't that magical? Isn't that magical, ladies and gentlemen? Is that magical to you? Yeah, you will be getting notes. Is that magical to you guys? Do you find that amazing? Do you find that amazing? I find it amazing. I do. And this is my life's work. This is what I focused in on to bring something unique to the trading world that was non-existent in the past. This is what I'm here to teach you. This course, even though it's a 3-hour course, the whole point of the course is for you to do homework. Initially, this course was supposed to be a full course at T3, 2 weeks, and me just going over thousands and thousands of examples. And you could drop $3,000 and be part of the Melnick Algorithmic Masterclass. And I would just go here and I would go through many names. But instead, I said, and this is why the class is this short, I said, why not just make it short? Teach the members of the room of the homework that they will inevitably have to do anyway, and let them practice it at home. So at the end of this course, you need to give me 4 hours a month for the rest of your trading career. So by being part of this course, I am taking your time. I'm taking your time beyond this course. You need to dedicate at least an hour a week to drawing trend lines. Doesn't sound like a lot of hours in a week, right? What is there, 168 hours in a week? It's about right. 168 hours in a week. I am going to need one of those hours. You could reach out to me 100 times a month with questions related to this course. 100 times a month. Thank you, Michael. I promise you that I'm excited when you guys make money, because that is my goal of running this room. And if you can't be excited about, if your members making money isn't your number one prerogative as a broadcaster, as myself, as a trading guru, then what's the point of me being a trading guru or a broadcaster, right? Yes, everything's going to be recorded. So this class will end by 12 o'clock. We do take 45-minute breaks or so. But first, it's very important to use a software that allows you to draw lines on your chart, as I had up earlier, like freestockcharts.com, which is identical to TC2000. That's it. That's it. Now, freestockcharts.com, as I'm mentioning here, only works in Internet Explorer. It ultimately doesn't matter which charts you use as long as you can draw trend lines. When TC2000, the company is Worden, when they had to develop their software, who do you think they contacted to make their software, their charting software, good? No, TradingView is not good for this. Oh, thanks, Hopita, thank you. You could use whatever charting platform you want. Here is the important thing. So if you're using another chart platform, you have to be able to magnetize your line. So for example, like here's a trend line, right? See the end of this trend line right here? You see that? It has to magnet on. You see like how it magnets on? You see that? Like how it clicks to the top exactly? Your trend lines need to magnet on. If you don't, or if you're not able to do that, you'll still be accurate, but not as accurate. A trend line is not an estimatable thing. You don't have support in an area. That's one of the fallacies of Wall Street. Support levels are identical to a penny. Now, I know this from my extensive work in the algorithmic field of helping programmers design algorithmic trend lines. When these major firms want to have their black boxes draw trend lines, yours truly charges them. They pay more than 6 figures for my time, for a week of my time, 2 weeks of my time. Just to be perfectly clear, this class I'm teaching you now is the same exact stuff I teach them, except I have to talk to a bunch of computer nerds, for lack of a better term, and teach them how to do this. So that's what we're doing here. That is what we are doing here. So let's just go back. All right. So again, why is TradingView is fine for a million things, but when you draw a line, can TradingView snap in like this? You see this? Look here. Look. Zoom in. I'm telling you why. You see that? You see like how it snaps in? Snap. Watch. Look how it snaps to the top of this line here. Snap. How about the bottom of this trend line right here? Look, when you draw a line, does it snap in like? See how it snaps in? Snaps to the bottom. Otherwise, you're just estimating it and trying to use your eye in the right place. So as long as you have the magnet snap in, you're good. And use any charting software you want. Fair enough? Now, if you don't have this charting software, don't get discouraged. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to be spending a lot of time on your own. This takes practice. Now, even though I have 50,000 plus hours, by the end of this course, you're going to be approximately 25 to 35,000 hours in. My goal for you is to be as good as I was, 25 to 35,000 hours in. And if you don't think that's worth $300 for a 3-hour course that could get you acclimated that fast, nothing I do will impress you. This will be one of the most important technical courses you take in your entire life. I'm not pitching you, you're already here. It's a fact. Watch, I'll prove it to you. Okay. So let's go into it here. Let's go into it. We're going to go. This is all going to be recorded. Don't worry. We're going to take breaks and whatever. The human brain cannot process more than 42 to 43 minutes of information before declining on retention rate. I understand that. So we do take breaks accordingly and frequently. So again, let's go right into what you are going to learn today. And hopefully you have your charts up. And I even have homework for you guys that I made. See that? Even got homework. Yeah, I'm taking you back to school again. Ha ha ha! Homework. God, I hated homework when I was growing up, but this is important. This is homework that's actually going to make you money. So please do it. I don't believe in homework. So we're going to talk about rules to live by. I'm going to put my mug. Oh, God. I'm just going to remove my mug for now. So thanks. Yeah, definitely, Marissa. So here are rules to live by when drawing trend lines. Now, again, these rules cannot be broken. These rules cannot be altered. These rules are here for a reason. I want to say I didn't make them up, but I did. And these are the rules that the majority of algorithms that move the market follow. Want to know how we called the bottom of the queues on Thursday and Friday? Because the robots are following these rules that I'm giving you. So it doesn't matter what you and I think. This is what the robots are doing. It's up to us to take advantage of them. So you cannot break any of these rules. This is like the rule of fight clubs, right? You cannot break any of these rules. You screw around with these rules, your results will vary. Rule number 1, when drawing a trend line, always use the top or bottom of candlesticks and never slice through tails on the first 2 points you connect. So when you're drawing something over here, when you're drawing something on the trend line, tails, hashtag tails matter. You can't draw a line slicing through a tail like this. You cannot connect it like this. This is an incorrect trend line. You have to respect the top or bottom of the candlestick. Whenever you draw a line, you have to connect it between 2 points. There has to be nothing in between touching those 2 points. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. After the 2 points hit, anything that goes on is okay. I'll explain. I'll give examples of. For example, in the triple Qs, that's a bad example. In the triple Qs, you wouldn't, for example, be able to draw. It's so hard when you draw trend lines correctly your whole life to actually get into the mentality of drawing it incorrectly. You wouldn't be able to draw that, for example, like the top of December 12th to the bottom of February 1st. Now, somebody did that and they said, look, Mark, the day low of the triple Qs on Thursday came right there, right? Look, looks good because it would have allowed you to call the bottom on Thursday. No, the bottom on Thursday came because of that right there. Now, why can't you draw this line? What is wrong with this line I drew? The first point is correct. I used the top of the tail. But when I connected it here, you slice through January 31st. There is nothing. Consider, and here's the beauty about these courses, I always analogically approach them differently. So there's no script I'm reading from. I would say the best, when you're drawing a trend line, think of it like this. Think of it as true love. You're taking this from a married man who was once divorced. Think of it as what true love was meant to be. It's a line between two people that nothing gets in between. And if anything gets in between, it wasn't really meant to be, regardless of what good or bad did or did not come out of it, right? So even though the good that came out of this trend line could have been, you could have called the low of Thursday, that is actually not why Thursday bottomed out there, because this is not a legitimate trend line. Next rule. So again, on the first point, when drawing your trend line, always use the top or bottom of candlesticks. Never slice through tails. It's always the top, the day high or day low, or whatever candle. If you're using it on a 5-minute, it's not a daily chart. It's the 5-minute high. You're using it on a 1-minute. It's always the dead high or dead low of the candlestick. It's never in between. It's not the body. It's not the length of the wick. That's such bullshit out there. I can't even stand when people talk about that anymore, because they have no their statistical clue is non-existent, and they're taught a certain way, and then they teach other people that way, and then other people think that it's true, but there's no statistical bearing. It's just more of a herd mentality. Please don't focus on the body of a candlestick when drawing a trend line. Yes, bodies of candlesticks, this is a hammer bar and that's a doji, and like I get that, and that's fine, and you could use bodies for that, but don't use them when drawing trend lines. That is my rule number 1. Rule number 2, always be exact. Exact. A trend line is not an estimated level. You can estimate, but we're estimating in pennies. We're not estimating the way people estimate in trend lines. I personally use free, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I use freestockcharts.com, which you're seeing right now, and TC2000. I have a paid version for both because I'm a broadcaster and I need to show real-time information on my screen. But you don't. You could use, I would personally go with TC2000. It's a platform. It is the best software out there to draw trend lines that I have found. And I've done extensive research. At the end of the day, you can use any charting software as long as you can magnet to the points, as I pointed above. Step 3, Do not ever connect the second point of a trend line to the last candlestick of the chart. That is a no-no. You cannot do that. You could do it a day later. You can't do it now. What does that mean? Well, for example, right over here on the triple Qs, you wouldn't be able to draw a trend line, for example, that looks like this right here. Why? Because I told you you cannot connect it to the last candlestick. Now, if the Qs start going up tomorrow and they don't retest this line, it's fine. And then your trend line's legitimate. But we will not know if you can draw that until a day later. Don't worry if this part is confusing to you. Don't worry if you're confused on a lot of this right now. You're supposed to be. I'm trying to insert 25 to 35,000 hours of information in your brain in a very short amount of time. So if you're confused, you are on the right track. Now, can anyone tell me right now, just looking at this chart, what is wrong with this trend line I drew? There are two things wrong with the trend lines. Let's hear them. I want to hear them from your mouth. Oh, let me remove my mug. I'm sorry. So here is the trend line I just drew. There are two things wrong with it. What is wrong with it? Let's see if you guys can tell me the two things. It does touch the bottom of the red candle here. Look, it's magnetized in. You see that? That is actually drawn correctly, Ravi. Michael breaks rule number 3. Do not ever touch, exactly, breaks rule number 3. You don't ever connect the second point of a trend line. And yes, thank you, Michael. Exactly. Rule number 1 is also broken. So no matter what in the future, even if the Qs shoot up, and that is a long-term bottom that you have, because you're slicing through right here, because you see that, how you slice through this tail right here? You see that? How you're going through the bottom of this tail? You actually broke rule number 1. So this trend line is algorithmically inefficient, and the robots will not follow that line. Only you will, and you'll be following an incorrect line. Very good, Michael. Sounds simple enough, right? Sounds simple enough, right? So there are, do I have it in here? If not, hold on, let me just double check. All right, all right, all right. How about the first two candles I showed? You're gonna have to be a little more specific. You didn't see it either. It's a very small slice. Now, that goes back to the point of what I'm saying. You need to magnetize trend lines, otherwise you're just drawing them and you're estimating. Now, that's a very rash example. You would have been able to avoid that trend line simply by not connecting it right over here to the bottom. So there are 4 types of trend lines. There are 4 types of trend lines. Hold on, let me see if I can have them up. Okay. Okay. So here are some rules of trend lines that I like to follow. A line drawn should be less than 45 degrees. I personally prefer a line being, it should say 0, actually. 0 to 35 degrees. Now, the Melnick reversal trade is also known as the Algo Buster reversal. Sounds more eloquent. And then we have simple trend line touches. So we're going to be going through that, and we're going to be talking about where you could long or short. So there's two things you could do here when you use my trend lines. You either buy or sell, right? Long or short. I generally like descending support lines, and I generally like ascending resistance lines to buy or sell. The Melnick reversal is known as the Algo Buster method. We'll go about that later. And again, don't worry if you're confused right now. I'm going to enlighten you. So you're going to need to start drawing trend lines. Now, this is going to be the most difficult part of the entire course, right now. This is going to be the most difficult. What I try to show you, you do get these notes, Benjamin. I'm going to try to show you the most difficult part of this entire course. And that is what Michael is asking, which is correct. Which two candles do you pick for the correct trend line? That is the good question. After you understand what I'm saying, my goal, and I always approach this differently, is this is the hardest part of the entire course because I have to teach you how to pick a trend line. Now, algorithmically, there's many ways I've explained it to programmers. So for example, if you're looking at a chart of the triple Qs, one thing when picking a trend line, let's just label it how to choose the right points to draw a trend line. Look for recent highs, look for recent lows. That's it. It sounds simple. It is and it isn't. So, for example, right over here, where would be a good start? So there are two types of there there are four types of lines. There's ascending support, which, and this part's pretty simple, where you basically just draw, you just basically draw a line that's going up, connecting the two bottoms. There's descending support, where you connect two lines that are heading lower. There's descending support, ascending support, and then of course there's descending resistance and ascending resistance. Basically connecting the tops, that's an ascending resistance because it's the top of two candles going up. Then there's also a descending resistance, which is the top of two candles going down. So these are the four lines you're drawing. Simple, right? Oh, let me remove my mug. Simple, right? You're connecting the two tops. It either goes up or you're connecting the two bottoms and it goes down. Yes, you can. There are situations where you draw a flat bottom or top. We could talk about those too. Don't want to focus in on that for now. But yes, you're basically drawing a line. 99.9999% of the lines you draw are going to be ascending resistance, ascending support, descending resistance, ascending support, descending support, ascending resistance, descending resistance. Do you guys guess? Do you guys understand that you're drawing the two tops or two bottoms? One of them goes up, one of them goes down. Is that clear? I mean, that's you got that. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people. They say, right? No, believe me. Because if there are stupid people, there's nobody in this room stupider than me because it took me 35,000 hours to get to the point of where I knew 35,000 hours of situations. So none of you will remotely be near there. We'll get into that, Rick. Okay, so very simple. Two lines that you are drawing, ascending and descending. Listen very carefully now, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to listen very, very carefully. Right now, I'm going to explain to you the hardest part of the course. When choosing a line, let's say you want to draw a line connecting the two tops. Which two tops do you choose? Well, imagine trying to pick the highest point in a range. The way I've successfully described this to like the Goldmans and people like that out there is try to look for a candlestick. And this is right for 99% of the situations. The truth is, I would probably need, and this is very important information, I'd probably need about 30 hours with you to get you from the point of 35,000 hours in to 40,000 hours in. So right now your learning curve will be like this. And then what happens is once you get to the top there, I have to start, you'll be climbing like this considering I make another course. Okay, that being said, look for a high of the candlestick, which is the highest candlestick, let's say in a 10 candlestick range. So if you're looking at any candlestick on the chart, go 10 left and 10 right. And if that's the highest candlestick, it's good. Now, yes, it could be 5 left and 6 right. You just want to be able to visualize it. This is the difficult part of the course. Okay, let's use an example here. Let's delete. Let's look at the spiders. Let's look at the spiders here really quickly. I'm going to delete my lines. So tell me. So right now, you guys should have your charts up starting November 1st of 2018 and forward. Starting on November 1st in 2018 and forward, what would be a good starting point for the high of a candle? Tell me any date. There's more than one right answer. Tell me a starting date that would be, based on what I said, the best way to draw the top of a candle. And by the way, I've been getting better at explaining this. You grasp this, and you are 96% there. Keep it coming. Mark, be a little more descriptive than 08. I don't know what that means. Keep it coming. Like, where would be a good start to start drawing your first line from the top? I'm looking at the top of a candlestick. What day on the spider's chart would be the top? Since all right. So some of you said Mark S. November 8th. Beautiful. Ravi, I said after October 1st, but let's see. Let's see what you guys said. November 8th, beautiful. December 3rd, beautiful. Now you said September 20th. September 20th, beautiful. That is correct, Robbie. You are absolutely right. Other than the fact that I said look at October forward, but I'm accepting that answer because that is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. God, it just screenshotted my face. Nightmares, nightmares, nightmares are going to ensue. Okay. And I'm going to show you why you did and what you did, guys, because you guys did a good job. All right. Perfect. You guys are learning. So the levels you chose were right here. Whoops, that was a star. The levels you chose were right here. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Believe it or not, that's a good point. That's a good point. You see that? Doesn't matter green or red. You see what I'm talking about? That those candlesticks I highlighted were the top candlesticks within a range. Do you guys see that? It's not always 10 left and 10 right. That was an example I used to get you acclimated. Do you guys get that? Are you with me? Does anyone have any questions? It's okay if you do. Believe me. This was the hardest part of the entire thing to learn. Beautiful. You guys got it. All right. Now, what you do is after you connect the top of a line, you connect the top of another line. So, using what I just told you, what would be the second candlestick that you attach to? Give me 2 dates of an ascending resistance line or descending resistance line. Remember, every time I use the word resistance, we are drawing the top of candlesticks. Every time I use the word support, we're drawing on the bottom of candlesticks. Give me a line you would draw. I don't know what that means, Ronald. The more recent candle, the more information. There you go. Then TradingView is fine, Rob, if you could magnetize the lines. Then you have my blessing. You guys need to give me 2 dates. Judy, give me 2 dates. Michael S, 2 dates. Mike M, 2 dates. I'm asking you to draw a resistance line, so you have to draw from one point to another. What's the first point? What's the second point? Let's see. Perry. And don't worry that I'm moving fast. You guys are going to be able to practice this at home. Believe me, this is good. So right now, honestly, inside, like, I almost have a tear in my eye for what you guys are doing, because if you know how much of my life that I spent to try to get to this level in which you guys are at right now, and I know it seems like you might seem like it's not that significant. You made it sound so easy. That's the whole point of learning knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, because if I could do something that took me 50,000 hours and I finally figured out stupid little intricacies to explain it easier to you, that is the whole point of good education. Okay, so you're talking October 3rd to December 3rd. Beautiful. Let's see what else we have there. Federico, November 8th to December 3rd. November 8th to December 3rd. Beautiful. Mark, Rick, oh, hold on. I jumped the gun. 10-3 to 12-3. Very good, Dirt Poor. Judy, give me better dates, Judy. You too, Michael S. Rick, October 29th to November 20th. Let's see, October 29th. That's a support line. I was asking for resistance, but that is a good starting support line. So I'm still with you. I wouldn't use November. I guess you could use November 20th. It would work because you'd be able to call the bottom there November 23rd. But I was looking more for a resistance line. But good job. That is a good line, Rick. Benjamin, 920 to 10-3. 920 to 10-3. That is correct. Well played. Mike M, December 3rd to February 5th. That is correct. And see how you hit it the next day. Good. December 3rd and December 9th. All right. That is not correct. First of all, December 9th is a Sunday. So that is incorrect. December 3rd to February 5th. Yep, already went through that. 10, 9, 11, 23, Pedro. 10, 9. 10, 9, believe it or not, is correct. And November 23rd. No, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. November 23rd. So here's the thing. So what you're saying, for example, Pedro, right here, is 1029. Wait, oh, I see what you did. Never mind. You said 1029 to. I see what you did there. That would be correct for an ascending support line. Correct. Third to fifth. All right. 11-8. Yep. Okay. That's all right, Mike. October 3rd to October 9th. I'm more amazed that you guys are picking this up. All right. So you can go, this is a legitimate line that you're talking about here. What don't I like about it? What don't I like about the line you see on your screen right now? It's legit. You drew it correctly, by the way. What don't I like about it? The 45-degree angle. Now, it doesn't mean you're drawing it wrong. But I promise you, you guys are not at that level yet where you could start interpreting this correctly. I even have trouble with these lines, and they tend to be less consistent, even though the line is drawn correctly. It tends to be less consistent. So for the sakes of consistency, I'm not going to focus on, you want to know the funny part about this course? The 0.1 to 1% is going to take me 30, 40, 50, 60 hours to show you. And the 99%, which you can easily make money off, I could do right now in this 3-hour class. So I don't want you focusing in on those lines. And at the same time, I don't want to tell you you drew the angle incorrectly. So pretty much when I'm showing you, when I'm showing you these rules, and all the angles and everything, I'm using a healthy generalization. Okay. So well played. I mean, you guys completely got it. Now, what I didn't tell you in this course, you're ready for this, is that you guys are going to be able to predict the future. Now, a lot of you I know would love to believe I have a time travel machine, but let's just, on the DL, keep it between us. There is no time travel machine. which I'm sure you probably already assumed. But what I'm going to do at the end of this course, and what you're going to be able to do, my goal for you at the end of I didn't tell you my goal in the beginning, I should have. My goal for you at the end of this course is you should be able to predict the future like I do. Is that fair enough? Yeah, Mike is like, oh my God, I thought there was a time travel machine. I've been duped. What's a quick minute chart setup? What do you mean by that, Isa? All right, so you guys are going to be able to predict the future. You guys are going to be able to predict the future based off these lines. And if you're able to do that, you are successful. All right. So the chart I have set up is very simple. I'm on free stock charts, and this is good for you guys practicing. It's probably a good thing to go over. So let's say you have a brand new chart. Let's say you have a brand new chart, default chart. So here's a default chart. I'm gonna go over this with you. It's 9:45 a.m. So this is 45 minutes in after the class started. Just so you know, this is very important. So if you use free stock charts and you want to set it up the way I do, this is the type of layout you'll see here. First thing you do, X off this, delete, X off that, delete, X off this, delete, get rid of this moving average. And again, you're going to probably play with these charts the way you want them. So you just have something that looks like this at default. I was just removing things. Right click, second button down, edit chart properties, price style, open versus close, color based on open. If you want to do it my way, open versus close. Plot style, candlestick. It's on HLC. So you change the plot style to candlestick and the color based on open versus close. And where it says up bars, you could fill them or unfill them. I like to leave mine filled. And you hit OK and you're set. And the next thing to do is if you like to look into the future, you'll notice there's a little triangle right there. When you go near it, you get this little, it pops up where you could left click and drag and look into the future. So, also on the top here, change it to daily. You could use this on any time frame, but for the examples we're using today, we're using a daily chart. What you could do is you could also for example, if I want to draw a chart line on the bottom here, it's kind of hard to see. You notice that down here? So there's another arrow on the right side. You see a triangle here where you could lift it up and down. So what I like to do is leave these a little closer to each other so you'll be able to draw trend lines effectively. And then on the bottom, give yourself a little space in the future so you could look. That is how I set up these things. And then if you want to add in moving averages and whatnot, there's a little plus here, and I'll let you do that on your own discretion. But to get the setup in which I am using, that is exactly what you do. All right, believe it or not, I'm going to prove to you what you learned. You might not think you have learned a lot. That is a commonality of doing this course. You might not think you have learned a lot, but by the end of this, you will be able to predict the future. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:48 a.m. We're going to take our first break, and we're going to be back at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard. That's 12 minutes. Use the bathroom, grab a drink, relax. You're going to refresh your brain. We're going to be moving light speed ahead when we come back. So come back 10 o'clock a.m. We'll see you guys shortly.